Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and let's travel to the past for a moment to a time before the champagne was buffed and when my room was a lot messier. Here today, we have a game captured from a live stream where we were doing count-ins with the boys, which turns into a rather fantastic game. I wanted to do this game because number one, it's a great game. Teaches a lot of points about battleship play, etc. Number two, they recently buffed this ship in this most recent update, and I'm not exactly sure why. We know that Wargaming loves their beloved spreadsheets, and I think that is 99% of what they look at when buffing or nerfing ships. All of us know that the Colbert did not need a buff. I mean, you know it, I know it, I'm pretty sure Wargaming knows it, but apparently it wasn't performing well on the win column because, go figure, kiting at the back of the map, spamming HE that doesn't really pen that much is rather useless in terms of winning strategies. Alas, I think Wargaming, in this game at least, has done a half-decent job at balancing. I really wish they, would be forced to play 10 games on Capture the Base Atlantic every week, and then, I think a lot more things would be changed for the better in this game. But regardless of that, we have this game here. A huge strategy that you need to utilize in the Champagne and most battleships is this defensive position, especially on a spawn like this side that we have here on Greece. Now, there is a fine line from utilizing this position and then kiting yourself to the back of the map. We were focused a little bit. It is count-ins. I am a streamer. I do expect to receive a little bit of extra attention. But again, that is my role in this battleship, and that is why I am maintaining angle for most of this initial engagement. And that is when the wee Scottish lad there, Mr. Scout, sorry for my terrible Scottish accent there. Scout is a wee Scottish lad there, and he sounds literally just like Davy Jones. But he pops up, Twisted starts engaging. I'm not sure if Twisted used his radar. This was before the update where we could tell. So we also take a shot, but with the 6 guns of the Champagne at 15 kilometers there, that is a low percentage shot. But like we've talked about so many times, if you can connect even one of those shells, it helps your team out tremendously. A Fletcher versus a USS Black, the Fletcher is probably going to win a straight-up gunfight, but with team support, we're obviously going to try and take him down. That is when the enemy team realizes that Twisted is an excellent destroyer player, and they want to get him off the board. At the same time, our Akatsuki sat in front of, I'm not sure what he was doing, but he goes down rather quickly there inside the B cap. You will notice in the meantime, though, we threw a shot at a broadside Azuma, and we literally just get about 1 penetration away from yeeting that man for the Dev Strike. 2 Citadels there, 4 overall hits, and that is the power of the Champagne. A 17.5 kilometer shot there, and we nearly Dev Strike the man. Now, the Azuma is one of those very squishy broadside targets with a large Citadel, so, trying to hit those targets or trying to find those targets sometimes during the game is part of the problem. If you don't have those ships with the large Citadels, you obviously won't be getting those. Here, Mr. Dakota goes out, and we actually pop a Citadel off of him, a Kansas there as well for a nice chunky total. When this ship hits, it might be the best sniper battleship in the game. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, yeah, kiting at the backline, yes, but that is the role of this ship. Your lack of health, you cannot go in brawling. Playing mid-range is nice, and when your team needs it, you need to be in position. We just hit Dakota for another Citadel there. He is moving his Kansas into B, and that is when you can see me just tell my destroyer players to use your head and not die within the first 3 minutes of the game. But regardless of that, we have chunked a nice damage total here, and we're going to go out and reposition. Like we talked about last night on stream, and like we've talked about before, Legends is like chess. It's like, basketball. Think of, your favorite sport and think of like a zone defense. You can see right now inside or on the south of B there is a massive zone that is opened up. On top of that, we have 2 battleships behind us. Now, one of them was Minnie, and Minnie is a great player. He always invites me to play. He's a good lad. But just, sometimes you have to read the flow of the game, right? So those battleships being behind me don't necessarily help our team whatsoever. So repositioning and positioning more so in the mid would have been a little bit more beneficial. Now, can I blame them? No, I did not experience the game from their point of view, so I don't know what happened. They probably were at B and those destroyers died, which leaves a massive hole for those destroyers to go, south of B there after they get that cap. Now, one destroyer was scout on the right there, so we're still trying to play and win our side. We have not won our side yet, but we can also just not let be, we can't let the destroyer get behind us. An Oyster Gotland there getting behind us would be a very bad day. So we are repositioning here. Toy is doing an excellent job of spamming from behind that island. He is utilizing island cover. I think the John Bart or another player actually sent Toy a message after the game, which was just funny because Toy played it very well, and he makes a critical cap at the end of this game to help us get this win. But if you will notice, even in a division here, we are down 2 caps, or 1 cap rather, and 1 ship. So, these count-ins provide a lot more competition, which I much enjoy. But again, even it's just people see division, they're like, "Oh, you're a cheater," and Chili kind of memed that on his stream today. But here is Cookie. I believe he was in the count-ins as well. I'm not exactly sure, and that is when the Oyster Gotland pops up there, and we're going to try and get a shot on him. But this Oster rather, plays it fairly well, and I probably threw those shots a touch too early. He stops and turns out, and we literally just miss, shooting him. But that is why I mentioned at the beginning of this game, I will say it again, shooting at destroyers is so important. Twisted does a fantastic job of killing this Oster here, but unfortunately he goes down. If we would have connected one of those shells, Twisted would still be alive. So that is an error on my part. I missed that shot. And as a result, we now have no destroyers to their 1 destroyer. So in the grand, thinking about competitive advantages, the enemy team has the biggest advantage right now. They have a destroyer, and we have no radar cruisers. On top of that, they have an extra cap. So what am I going to do? I'm going to work my way into B here, and that's when we see Scout lob a few shells from B, so we know that he's right here. I'm going to turn in to avoid these shots, but the John Bart is firing HE, so we're not too worried about giving up broadside, but we want to keep it in the back of our mind. So I'm in a little bit of a pickle here, right? We've got these ships to my left, we've got this Jean Bart out there, and we have Scout in front of us. If I had to guess, if Scout was reloaded, he would have thrown torpedoes through this channel, but I guess he wasn't reloaded, but that is what we're waiting on. At which point I just say, you know what, we have to go. 1 Fletcher Torp is not going to hurt that much. I told Mini on the stream, which is why these games are fun, that Mini just needs to hold this position and try and help Toy burn down this John Bart. But that Jean Bart put out a permanent fire, and we actually got one, lucky with the RNG there. We got 1 shell on the nose and hit him for a permanent fire. So never damage con 1 fire, Mr. Cookie, and he is on a double now due to Toy being an intelligent player and trying to burn him down to help the point differential. That is when we get another hit with HE and tick the high caliber there at 130,000 damage. We do lose a turret here, and honestly, I said, this is probably a mistake to repair this, but considering you only have 2 turrets, I wanted to make sure to get maximum DPM. I believe it was Philip who was in the A cap here, and at this point I said, Philip, just ram the Alabama if you can. So we're shooting the Alabama. Mini got the Azuma there, and we're bringing this game back, right? The enemy is still very close on points, but because we got into the B cap, we neglected their point influx. On top of that, we killed the Azuma, which threw the points in our favor. You will also notice we are detected here, and now it could be the John Bart from the rear, but it could also be Scout out there with the Fletcher, so we need to be very mindful of that, right? Paying attention to where you are spotted from can help you, it's like that post about Battleship, it's like destroyers are cheaters or whatever, and if you don't pay attention to things like that, then yes, destroyers having good concealment is going to be a huge problem, but you basically need to get good. That is my message. Unfortunately, Philip dies in the Kansas there. He was getting focused pretty hard. But what we're going to do right now is try and tank the most amount of damage we can, which is why it is essential to angle and not give up damage early game. You see, we have just about over half of our health here. So, now is our time to tank this damage from this Alabama and also reset him, right? Number 1, because Mini has moved his way into B. Number 2, because Toy has killed that John Bart, and now Toy is working his way into C. So Scout is in a dilemma here. Scout played this game very well, but he just did not have enough team support at the end of this game. I make a little bit of a risky turn here. I was looking at the Alabama's turrets, and unfortunately he turned back, so I decide to turn out again. It's maybe not the best play, but I wanted to not just run away for the entire duration of this engagement. Why? Because if the Alabama goes dark, he can capture A and the enemy will win on points. You can see that we are actually up on points and up on ships at the moment, although the enemy does hold the B cap. So if I was the enemy, I would be doing exactly what Scout is doing and torping or trying to shoot and displace Mini. There goes Mini, and that is when we lose the lead. Not only did we lose the lead, but we lost the ability to flip the lead, right? The Alabama is an A. They have both B and C caps. Although Toy is working his way, if we do not kill this Alabama or reset him, then this game is over, right? There is 4.5 minutes left, so we do have time, and that is why I wanted to turn around. So we did get the reposition on this next, basically on the following salvo, but I just want to, walk you guys through the strategy. Turning broadside in front of an Alabama we know is a sentence to lose, 40k health if he gets the citadels, but more even with 20k health just in penetrations. The Alabama actually switched to HE because we were angling, and that is when we get the permanent fire, I believe. On top of that, we get another reset. So if we can kill this Alabama, and you can see Toy is working his way into the Charlie cap, we have this game won. Again, it's a lot of people are so focused on kills, caps, or kills and damage rather than caps and position. I only got the amount of damage I did because of my position and my reading of the mini-map. So if that is one thing you guys can take away from this video, if you want to be a better Battleship player, read your map, use your crossfires, and reposition when necessary. Here I'm turning out again because I know that Scout could be on his way to try and kill me. I'm not sure where he is. On top of that, we have that Alabama on a permanent fire, so he is not going to get A. As soon as we kill the Alabama, that is when the game is secured. We flip the points back in our favor. On top of that, we flip the caps. And there is the salvo I was talking about. Honestly, maybe a touch lucky that it wasn't worse, but we still have 10k health and we are not detected. If we're not detected, then we know that Scout cannot be torping us. So a little finishing touch here, even if a Scout gets A, the game is still over. He would have to kill Toy, and Toy I think is fairly full health, utilizing island cover. So again, it's just playing playing smarter, not harder, right? A lot of the, when I was new, I actually remember saying, come out from behind the island, like when I started this game, and my buddy was like, nah, dude, that guy's playing it smart. He's utilizing island cover. A Scout pops up here, but again, this game is just kind of over. Scout's team essentially failed him in the final 5 minutes there. Our team did a fantastic job to bring it back, playing smarter, like we mentioned. But if you're trying to become a better player, just think about your position, right? So many people are worried. It's like, dude, how did you get 187,000? And to me, that's honestly not really a lot of damage. I guess it is at tier 7, but positioning myself, looking for crossfires, playing the objectives will net you more damage in the long run. It's not going to happen every game. Like you guys saw last night on stream, I had a very, very bad game in the Champagne. The team just didn't position well. I didn't get RNG, etc. So I wanted to be clear that these games don't happen every night, right? Like some people have 25,000 games and they see like the 200 or 300 replays, and it's like, well, okay, those are nice, but that does not happen every game. But if you position poorly, bad games will happen more often. So just something to keep in mind. Here, though, Toy has played this, fantastically, avoiding the torps, shooting when he can. I'm looking for the cheeky shot through the... If you guys didn't know, you can actually shoot through that. A few of you have seen me kill destroyers through that little mouth face there. Toy working his way into B, and myself working, into A. I think I just missed... we're like a second. We're like tied with the timer for the game, but... getting that solo cap at the end in a battleship is always nice to boost that XP. Also, you guys will just notice we talked about this in the Petro video, that little located icon just came up. So what that tells me is Scout is now closer to me than he is to Toy. So just paying attention to things like that, right, are going to help you become a better player. Here, though, we're going, All Guts, All Glory. We only used one of our spotter planes, and I forget to use it here. It's just not something I'm used to, but Scout donates a little bit of his health here to give me the Confederate. And again, there's nothing he can do at this point. It's more valiant to me to try and win in this position than it is to just run and hide as a destroyer. We know by running he's going to lose. And by at least charging in, basically if he runs, there's a 0% chance. If he kills me and gets a lucky torp on Toy, there's like a 1% chance, right? But that is the end of the game. A nice 32-81 with the Fireproof, Dreadnought, Confederate, and High Caliber. So a shout out to Twisted, a shout out to Toy, a shout out to Scout, and to everyone in that count-in. That was a lot of fun. The count-in games are just a lot more competitive. I really enjoy them. But guys, that is the pre-buff Champagne. Let me know, do you guys like the Champagne with the reload booster? Have you tried it yet? Are you going to get it? And yeah, that's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Aaron out. Peace.